Let's go. All right.
Hello.
Hey, we're here. We're here in Pennsylvania. What town is this? Where are we?
Quakertown.
We're in Quakertown, Pennsylvania,
That's good.
with a bunch of volunteers knocking on doors. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Holly Harris from
Hi,
the
Holly.
Boston area. How do you do? Hi, David.
Holly Harris from the Boston area. Holly, how's
Okay,
this
all right.
neighborhood been?
This neighborhood has been many not homes. The Dems who are there are dedicated and committed, and the rest of the people, neck bones.
Yeah, it makes you just.
Neck bones. Hi.
Is that a smile?
Hi.
That's a smile.
Neck bones. Thank you for your time.
So one of the things we'll talk about today is that we're knocking on doors of a lot of independents and Republicans and getting them to flip around. And that's because there are some
Yes,
that are reasonable.
and are receptive. Not
Yes.
only reasonable, but receptive.
Okay. And you're brave. You got your two Harris Walls sticker and then your Union Labor sticker.
Although lots of retirees in this neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people working from home as well.
Okay. All right. So this is
Where are
this
you
is
again?
a suburb that we're in right now.
Yeah, what are you in? What
We're
suburb?
in Quakertown.
Quakertown. Okay. All right.
But this is a suburb of the town of Quakertown where we were yesterday, which was much more small town
Yes.
apartment blocks.
Yeah.
Gritty city that
Yep.
took a hit, but seems to be coming back.
Yeah. And so this is a more affluent part of it.
Okay.
We got Greg is waving. Are you waving people down over there, Greg?
All the time. I'm bringing waving back.
Oh, you're bringing waving back. This is Greg. This is one of our longtime volunteers.
Hey, Greg.
He's been out with us how many times now? 2 dozen times? I don't know.
In between.
But
Give or take.
he's got this T-shirt that opens up a bunch of doors.
Greg, you're
Greg
legendary, man. You're legendary in
He
the
is.
CP
He's a
universe.
legend.
All right.
That's right. See, even David knows about you.
Most stories are true.
That's right. All of the good ones and the bad ones are all true. All true. So you're saying today he told us about this shirt and you haven't been wearing it. You didn't wear it yesterday. But you were
I
wearing
wore
it
a
before that.
DNC volunteer shirt yesterday.
Okay, he made the mistake of wearing a DNC
Yeah.
volunteer shirt to the doors. And what was the difference yesterday to today?
Well,
Wearing the shirt, not wearing a shirt.
I mean, it's still the same thing. We just got to figure out a way to communicate together.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I've been able to break through is the election's gonna happen, and we got to start planning how we're gonna get things done after the election
Together.
together,
Mm.
because the issues affect us all the same, so we got to work together to get it done.
Okay. All right. Where are you from?
San Antonio, Texas.
All right. And all over America.
That's right.
That's right.
USA,
Okay.
baby.
Okay. One last one here. I got Matt from New York.
So, yeah,
New York. Where are you from in New York?
good after living in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's super cool. Brooklyn people are
Yeah.
the coolest Americans. That's what I hear.
Wearing the Oxford shirt. That's
Yeah.
the height of that.
Uh,
Representing that demographic. So anyone who comes to the door with an Oxford shirt, we have an immediate connection.
yeah, and he
And there are a lot of those.
and there are a lot.
Yeah, because they're working
Yeah.
from home.
So
So I'm from the work from home contingent.
and you introduce yourself as Matt from Brooklyn. That's how you get in.
Yeah,
Matt the lib from
they're
Brooklyn.
like, oh yeah, Brooklyn's cool, Kings County, and they're like, I want to talk to you.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
So we have all kinds. You got a question for Matt from Brooklyn, David?
Well, how did each of these three folks get to CP? What was the connective tissue? Just real quick.
Oh yeah, where'd you came from? Seed the Vote, right?
Yeah, and Common Power just being able to help volunteers get to where they need to go in terms of helping out with lodging just makes all the difference to make it possible. So I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, Seed the Vote is one of our partner organizations. They do a lot of bang out work and they're out of the Bay Area. But Greg is from there and Rachel was also joined us from there. But these are some of the most hardcore volunteers that exist in America. All right. These folks will fly anywhere and knock on doors and they're unafraid to talk to anybody. And they have decided that they want to come hang out with us a little more.
Hey,
So that's one. That's
okay.
one.
All right. Here's
How did you get
another
here
question.
from Boston? How did you find out about us from Boston?
Vote Save America.
Yeah, you're a
Oh.
vote save volunteer?
Believe me, for months I've been looking for a group that would do this.
Yeah.
And I happened to connect with Vote Save America, had a 1-on-2 Zoom
Okay.
at about Team East. And then we went traveling.
Okay.
And about a month ago, I get an email that even in my inbox says, "Are you willing to travel to knock on doors?" And I
Yeah.
said, that's my, and
That's it.
it was from VSA.
Yeah. And it was about us.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
All right. So this is a vote save listener who found us right here. That's awesome.
Okay.
See, I thought you were just like friends of some like CP Boston person. Okay.
no, and I'll be happy to connect with other CP people in Boston. I want to figure out how I can do a lay-led summer service at my UU church about
You-
common power.
You're part of the UUC?
Oh, actually, Unitarian Universalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, you want to tell everybody?
So
the
we
UU?
just did a learning tour. We do these trips to the American South where we learn about history and connect it to today. And they're very, very informative, very powerful. They're several days. And we just did one with the Universalist Unitarian Church out here in Seattle. So Charles is putting the C on the end of that because they're they're University Unitarian Church, but they're part of the UU.
Yeah.
And UUers, you guys have a long, proud history in the fight for racial justice.
Seriously.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like I don't like I was born a Baptist and then I don't go to church anymore, but I went to the UU and I was like, I would go to this church. This is dope. Talk about justice and activism and
I was brought up Presbyterian.
Yeah.
And got roped into the UU choir on the South Shore.
Oh.
And I sat in the choir
You
loft.
sing?
I do.
Oh my goodness.
I was sitting in the
You
choir
gotta
loft
get her to sing in the car.
and I thought,
Do it.
I've been a UU my whole life. I just didn't know it because I'm listening to what's coming up.
The values.
But my mother, born a Baptist,
Yeah.
she said, she lived. She never said these words, but she lived. Take your brain to church and keep it turned on.
Ooh. Oh.
So-
Holy moly. I like that. We can go deep. We need to get like a UU podcast going. This is interesting.
Yeah, this is
I'll-
great.
Spread you. I'll spread you. Man, there are UUs are cluster bombs in New England.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also one thing I just remembered is that the Pod Save guys are from Boston. A couple of them, right? Tommy and John, one of the Johns.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. They pull out the accent every once in a while. Anyways, okay, we're gonna let you guys get back to door knocking. We also have Puya out here who, you know,
No, I'm glad
just-
Puya's there, keeping it straight and narrow. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I wasn't just talking on the phone, somebody got to run this thing, so.
Exactly.
Knock on doors while y'all just sit out here talking,
yeah, well, we produce content, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All
Well,
right.
thanks everybody
for
for
your work.
thank you all. Thank you all
Yes.
so much. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Yep.
I'll join you. Are you doing another turf or are you going lunch?
Probably another turf.
Another turf?
Or are you ready for something to eat?
Whatever you want.
This man has a very high metabolism. It needs to be
Yeah.
fed. From his lips to my ears last night. Well, if anybody's got any leftovers, I'll take them. If I don't eat them here, I'll have them later.
All right. Go get something to eat, man.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll meet you guys out there. Okay. There we go.
So
We schedules aligned and we got a team live in action.
right. I'm gonna show the screen here for a second and put you
Yeah.
guys on the map, literally. Okay. For us. Put you on the map.
Maps are really cool, David. I don't know if you
You ever
use them at all.
No, I don't often use them. Let's see. Quakertown. Okay, so there it is, right there, Quakertown. And but you're staying in Philly, right?
We're staying in Montgomeryville.
Montgomery.
We're staying in Montgomeryville.
Okay.
So we're about half hour away.
Okay. So here's okay, so you're pretty north right now of downtown Philadelphia then. You're probably a good like hour and a half north of downtown Philly. All right.
Yeah, with traffic, yeah. But yeah, we're out here, man. This is it. This is where the
Yeah, an hour and 20
Really
from
far.
downtown Philadelphia. Okay. So let's start here. I have I've been preparing for this podcast by pulling together, because you're in Philadelphia, I'm thinking. And I got a bunch of content about how African American voters are doing this election. I got a bunch of content about Latinx voters. I got a bunch of content. A great poll came out today about Asian American voters. All right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a great poll came out today about younger voters. So that's who you're
Yeah.
talking to, right? I'm totally prepared to talk to you about these voters, right? So let's go.
Good.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, before this, David was like, all right, I got this content. And I was like, I got this and I got this and I got this. And I was like, nope, nope, no, nope. That's not who we're talking to. We're not talking to any of those people. We are talking to independent voters that have been on Trump's side. That's who we're talking to right now. And it was not who we expected to talk to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
these are the people who, and it's not just Pennsylvania. Simultaneously, we all discovered the fieldwork team was in Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, not Detroit, Lansing, Michigan, where farm country butts up against the suburbs. And we're here in Montgomerysville, Pennsylvania, out in Bucks County, and we're in the far-flung white suburbs of Arizona, and we're, as you talked to Ben, an hour or so, 40 minutes south of Missoula. Everywhere we're talking to older white voters, and older than young people, let me say. So people who are millennials, also talking to them. But we're talking to white folks. We're talking to people who maybe voted for Obama and then voted for Trump and are not liking Trump anymore. And that's a very specific type of American that will go back and forth in their vote, and also will look to split their vote on party lines. We'll vote for some Democrats and intentionally vote for some Republicans. Very interesting stuff.
Okay, so and I want to talk about Pennsylvania because that's where you are. But on this point of who you're talking to, you said you didn't expect to talk to these voters. Okay, like the voters we have traditionally talked to in our get out the vote period of like the 2 months before an election are pretty strong Democrats. They just need to vote, right?
Yeah.
But we're now talking to voters that are, they're not really Democrats. Maybe they're lean Democrat, but they're at most lean Democrats. And they're a mix. And how is that landing among our CP volunteers?
Yeah, so I mean it's been tough. I mean, it's been an adjustment for everybody. So because this is not something that we knew would come with such volume, none of us had communicated it out to our volunteers. In fact, in all of our trainings, we've been telling people it's mostly Democrats who we're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because it's a few things that have shifted under our feet. And so it's good to name here. So what Ben and I, Ben immediately, we had this big discussion yesterday. Ben put out this message on to the team leads and the trainers yesterday on Slack pretty quickly that talked about how it's different and why it's different. We also produced a 40-minute YouTube video that I think you're going to send out to alongside this video that details those 2 points, how it's different, why we think it's different. But it's really, the Harris campaign has shifted the entire political landscape. America having to adapt to the change from Biden to Kamala, and also her figure out where her advantages are and where the edges of that are. And so the campaigns are doing a lot of testing. Like they're like, working class voters, but how far does that go? Where are the edges with independents? And they're also getting an influx of volunteers from everywhere. So they don't need us in Philly, because a bunch of liberals are showing up in Philly and they're like, I'm ready to knock doors for Kamala. So they got it. They got Philly. Nobody is showing up in Montgomerysville, Pennsylvania saying, I want to volunteer for Kamala Harris. No one's showing up in an hour south of Missoula saying, I want to volunteer for Kamala Harris. So we are being sent to the places that have the highest need after the big Harris shift. So I think the campaigns are also kind of like, oh man, this is, we're getting our feet on the ground, and also we're shifting. And the people who are working field for Kamala Harris, these are brand new people. So when we land, we're like, Puyo was in Michigan having to show the people in the office how to deploy us, how to like measure our work, what the turf should look like. Ben was doing some of the same stuff in Montana. So it's really interesting seeing Common Power in the context of this brand new candidate.
Huh. Yeah, it's interesting. It's so to me, it's like the veterans who show up to knock doors and also stabilize the campaigns to stabilize, right? Like we're not only doing the tougher doors to knock, we're also helping them to kind of just feel settled and confident in what they're doing. So here I want to show this about Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania is a crucial state, obviously. It's the yeah.
crucial, right? Yeah, that's what we're learning from the trip.
This is Split Ticket, which is a great new political elections forecast site. And the tipping point state, that metaphor of a tipping point, like whoever wins it becomes really likely to win the election. It's more than double any other state, okay, in terms of the importance. Now, when you look at the states that we're in, well, every single one on here, every single state on here are states that we in Common Power are in, all right? So every single state, and now that Nebraska 2nd is going to stay a district that has a electoral vote, because the Nebraska Republicans, or at least one of them who wants to run for Omaha mayor next year. Okay,
that's right. He wants to run in a bluish area. Yep.
So he's saying he won't. Excuse me. He won't vote to make make a winner take all in Nebraska. So Omaha will stay a contested electoral vote that the Democrats will likely win. But look at that: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Nebraska, the 2nd congressional district. When people ask us at Common Power, like, how do you figure out where to go and what states to work in? Well, it's really not that difficult if you live in this world. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's just like if you ask me how to do surgery, I'd be like, that's impossible. How would you ever do surgery? But then you bring in a doctor who's like, I do surgery every day. It's not that difficult. Okay. Right. Because they live in that world. For us, we spend an enormous amount of time paying attention to the analyses out of states, the polls, the on the ground information, the data, the pundits say, what the campaigns say. And Pennsylvania is the most important state in this election, and thus we're going 4 times, and this is the first trip. Okay.
Yeah. So the tipping point percentage, that being that high, what does it mean when that is a higher percentage?
Well, the tipping point percentage means that it's so crucial in the map for each candidate that whoever wins it because it's worth, I think, 19 electoral votes. Whoever wins it, it just reflects that their coalition is ascendant. Okay. So you look at the 3 blue wall states across the top. If you win Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, then Harris is very likely to win. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. If Trump, you go for a little bit further down. If Trump wins Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, then he's very likely to win. All right. So for each one, it's like that step 2/3 of the way through winning the states they're supposed to win. If you can get Pennsylvania, you lock your coalition together.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. And it's less consequential that he takes Georgia and Texas. And if he manages to take one of the Arizona or Nevada, then we're still fine. He has to, he's got to take one of our big ones. Okay. Yeah. That's in line with what we've been telling people. And Pennsylvania definitely feels like that after being out here in the doors.
So,
because they're
yeah.
convinced, man. They're willing to listen. Puya, he just went up to a door that had a Trump sign on the outside. And I think that he wouldn't have done that if he were by himself, but he just went up to a door with a Trump sign on the outside. And um, you know, he was talking to the wife and she seemed open. And then the husband walked up and then he said he had to pretend to only be talking about the House candidate, the Democratic House candidate. And he kind of like tucked away the Harris literature.
Oh, Puya.
Yeah, Puya did this
Yeah.
while he's on the tour. So, and this is in line with recent polling about women and men, right? That one just came out, yesterday? I think about yesterday or day before.
Yeah.
The polling split on women and men. Kornacki was talking about it. It's like 30-point difference or something crazy like that.
It's an enormous gender gap.
Yeah, it's huge. And that's exactly what we're seeing out here. It's the women are like, of course, Kamala Harris, and it'll be a registered Republican that says it. The interesting thing about registrations in Pennsylvania is that this is one of those states where Democrats will register as Republicans to vote in their primary to get the craziest person selected in their primary. And so we've knocked on registered Republican doors, and in their hearts they're Democrats.
Yes.
So what do you got? You're pulling up something.
Yeah, well, there's a meme going around, and I'm not able to find it super quick here about women, about like, hey, it's totally okay for you to vote for Harris and not tell your husband, right? And
oh yeah, I wonder if I've got that.
and it's a sexist meme, the idea that women, if you're going to do something, you have to like sneak it past your husband. Like there's a sexism in there that I'm a little uncomfortable with as a message, but it is a reality that we see on the doors, that women who speak and they talk hushed terms when
it's very real, man. It's like I think if you went around saying it a lot, it would be sexist. But if you did it in liberal circles, they would call you sexist. You do it out here in Pennsylvania, and it's reality. This is actually what it is. Women have to hush their voice at doors talking to us about their vote. And it happens one after the other after the other. It is not a stereotype. It is real. That is actually what's going on out here in the doors. Kamala voters they'll whisper to us at the doors about what they think because they think that their neighbors are listening.
Wow.
They don't want to put out yard signs because the Trump voters will tear their yard sign down, or they'll target their house, or they'll out them as Democrats. But the reason why Pennsylvania had that 34% rate on the tipping point scale, and the reason why Trump is spending so much money out here is because there are so many Democratic voters in Pennsylvania, but you don't see them on the streets. Here's one of the things that somebody handed me, and it's like risen up in prominence organically online, but it's these sticky notes right here. And it's a sticky note that
let me read it, okay?
Go ahead, read it out loud.
Woman to woman, your vote is yours. No one else sees it at the polls. Protect women's rights. Vote Harris Walz. So you got that sticker right there. Okay.
Hold on. Here's the kicker about this sticker. This is a Post-it note. Somebody made this on Vistaprint themselves. They got this. They designed it themselves or something, but it comes from a viral campaign that just comes from just women telling other women, but it's sticky notes, and they've been writing this on sticky notes and putting them in bathroom stalls.
Oh, right. I've heard about this. Yes.
They've been putting them on bathroom stalls, and this is true. This is real. This is why in states like Pennsylvania, they actually shouldn't do mail-in ballots, because then their husband gets to see how they vote.
Oh man, oh man. This is real. This is deep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they need to vote on election day, and a ballot booth by themselves, or in a by themselves. They need to, somebody was at a door recently. They were telling me about they knocked on a door, and the woman answered the door, and she was like, "I'm all in on Kamala Harris," and then the volunteer asked for the husband, and then she goes, "Is he a registered Democrat?" And then, he comes up, and like they discovered that they're voting the same way at the door.
Oh, the wife said this, like is he a registered? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But like there was discovery within a house about political views and voting because our volunteer went to the door and introduced that. It is, so many houses were like, we don't talk about politics. Within our house, we don't
Yeah.
talk about each other. We don't talk about politics. And a lot of that is to keep the peace, but it's cultural out here. Like if you want to keep the peace within your household, within your neighborhood, you don't talk about politics. The only thing it's okay to do is to put Trump signs out and say you're okay for Trump.
So let's finish up this. This is so interesting to me. So the kind of things that you're describing about Pennsylvania, it comes from, or about the people you're interacting with. Like if you're sitting in Seattle, you're Charles Douglas 6 years ago. All right.
Yeah.
You're sitting in Seattle 7 years ago, and you have spent your life mostly doing work in the Tacoma, Seattle area, went to college in Florida, have been around to some degree, but have never immersed yourself perhaps in these other spaces. Like, so
No.
what has this produced for you at a deep core
I
level?
would I wouldn't know, man. I wouldn't know any of this stuff. I mean, this is our 7th year, and I'm here in Pennsylvania shocked. The entire fieldwork team is like, we didn't expect this. And also we've never been asked to talk to Republicans and independents in this way. Not on phones, not on doors, text message, postcards, anything. I think this is a shift in America and politics, but no, I would have never thought that these people think this way or that they could be swayed. I think that almost a decade now of Trumpism, I don't think any of us would think that folks who vote for Trump or would go to a Trump rally would be open to voting for a Democrat in general, right? House seat, or a Democrat like John Tester, let alone a presidential candidate. But they really are, and it's amazing to see how if we go to a door and we look them in the eye and we say, I care about what you think, I care about your vote, let's talk about your issues, that it works. It totally works. Even some of the hardest interactions. Ahmed had a really tough one yesterday, and it was a veteran. I mean, he comes out wearing a Trump shirt, and he was a veteran. He's talking about Biden's pull out of Afghanistan, and the dude is like he gets to the point where he's crying. He's like crying, but he's yelling. And Ahmed was there with another volunteer, and they de-escalated it, and got it to the point where the dude seemed like he was listening to them, like he heard some of it. And this is the first time I've ever heard about this kind of interaction ever. It was a standout thing. It was the only one like it for the entire trip. But it's a further on the spectrum interaction that's a sign that we could get through to these people. Like they'll listen to us, actually. And so this work is really, really valuable. It is more difficult than we thought it would be. It's definitely more draining.
Yeah, that's real. And could it be any other way, actually, in 2024?
No,
right?
No. Yeah, that's right. It reflects the country. This is where we are, man. These are the people that we need to reach. This is how she's going to win. This is why Trump was here yesterday in Pennsylvania. This is why she's coming back here, and is going to be here over and over again. This is the ball game. This is the country. And I told the volunteers today, I said, when we were building Common Power, we faced a lot of headwinds, and people were telling us they're like, David, that's not how you raise money. Uh, Charles, this is not, you can't put these people in charge. This is not going to work if you put young people and old people together, or you can't put inexperienced people in charge of things. You can't do educational work and political work. You can't do like all these things that were these headwinds. And at some point, you and I had this discussion, but I'm like, wait, those headwinds are a sign that we're actually on the right path. The tough slog right now is a sign that this is a place where there's a lot of need. The fact that there's nobody out here who we can emulate is a sign that this is where we need to be. And so I told him that story, that brief story, and I said, these hard doors in this county is a sign that this is where the need is. This is a sign of the value of the work, that it's difficult, because nothing that is worth having is easy. And the difficulty level here shows that this is so worth it to be out here.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm inspired to think that you're out and you're one car. What is there, maybe 10 cars, 15 cars in
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
very
there were
large
20 at the height. Yeah.
Okay, so there's like 20 at the most, because this was a huge team, 70 plus people, right?
Yeah.
And so in that team, Greg from, I think, Texas, San Antonio, Texas.
Antonio. Yeah. Matt from
Matt from
Brooklyn, New York.
right, and then Holly, right, from Boston.
From Boston.
Yep.
Yep.
You're from
Yeah.
Tacoma, and Puya's from Iran originally, and then Seattle. Okay.
Yeah.
That's freaking what America should be right there, right?
Yeah. Greg is a native background.
Mm.
Yeah, man, this is what it takes. You got to build coalitions, you got to bring people together, and you got to do hard work together, and you got to support each other. I think the thing I'll end on here is that one of the ways that we were able, the one way actually initially that we were able to adapt to such a shock in the difference in doors, and not have, people fall off and say, I'm not doing this anymore. And, at the end, people are like, I'm bringing my friend, I'm bringing my mom, I'm bringing people. Is the community piece, because we leaned in so much in the community and the preparation for the trip, on the ground in cars, mixing it up and stuff. A lot of time in the morning, more time than people were comfortable with, because we invested in that. When we hit the doors, people had the car to fall back on, and the people they were knocking on doors with. They had lunch, where a bunch of cars came together, had lunch together. They had the debrief in the evening where they would talk about their feelings, about their tactics, get best practices from other people. Because we invested in the community part, we were able to weather the initial shock of that, and then push and refresh and do it again the next day and the next day. People, we had a young guy from New York, also a young, a little bit younger than me, in his 30s, and he said, I almost didn't come out the next day because it was so hard. His name is Matt, and he's the son of one of our supporters who have been with us for a long time. And he said, I almost didn't come out of my hotel room because I was feeling really down. I was feeling de-energized, and I decided to come out, and I was in my car, and I'm so glad I came out, because the folks in my car kept me going, and they re-energized me, and they supported me, and they're all older. They're all these like older women that he was with. And he was like, I love this community, and I'm going to keep doing this work. And that's how we do it, man. That's how we do it together.
Yeah. Great leadership out there, man. Great work. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
It's good work, man. It's good people.
CP Nation, I love saying that. CP World, CP Nation. Thank you so much.
CP Nation's good. Good
for
job.
all your support. We got 40, I think 3 or 2 days to go. And we're need all the time and treasure you got. And it's hard. But we're together. And so we're gonna win together is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So, keep on.
All right. We'll see you.
Here, man. Bye.
We're out.
Out.